All right, welcome back to another one of our film reviews. Today we are talking Chargers rookie center Josh Kaltenberger. Kaltenberger is an under-the-radar guy in this Los Angeles Chargers offense, but based on his first preseason game, he's got a lot of potential. He may find himself working into a critical depth piece, maybe even a starter someday for this Chargers group up front. We'll break down exactly what he did so well in his first preseason game. As always, leave us a comment with any feedback or any other players you want us to break down. But without further ado, let's jump right into the film. All right, let's open up with a running play, and there's Kaltenberger, number 63, right there in the middle of your screen. This is going to be a draw concept, so we're going to show pass, show pass, show pass, show pass across the board, show pass at the running back position, then get the handoff. We're going to get base block there, base block there, base block here, double team right here, working up to the linebacker. Now, one thing you'll notice is that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 defenders in the box and only 5 linemen, right? So you would only call a draw in a game plan situation if you felt very confident that one of these linebackers was just going to fly away and escape in coverage. Because if they're both in the box, you got 5 blockers, 6 guys, ain't going to work out, of course. But this is a situation, it's the preseason, not really game planning, so you just kind of live with it. So you basically get a situation where it's a lose-lose for the offense. But let's watch what happens, specifically this double team after this showing the pass between the left guard and the center Kaltenberger, what they do to these two guys up front. Love this play. Let's check it out. All right, there's the snap. You can see everyone up front is selling pass. You can see the double team between the left guard and the center, 62, 63, working up to 47, the linebacker. The linebacker fires. He then loops around. Kaltenberger, the center, sees him, picks him up. Watch how he finishes right there. Pancake. That's awesome stuff. I tell you what, you get one of these linebackers flying around with reckless abandon. He's kind of flailing a little bit. Punish and bury him. Love to see that. Love the physicality. Love the finish. Do a great job. No one blocks number 41 for Detroit right here, but because they absolutely bury the defensive tackle and the linebacker, he actually has a chance for a really good play. Now, the left tackle, he gets beat here. That's not ideal. But if you look at what happens with Kaltenberger, this is what you want. You see the linebacker come around. It's a double team. Whichever side the linebacker flashes, if he flashed over here to the left of the guard would come off. If he flashes to the right of the center comes off. He flashes to the right of the center comes off. He's kind of flailing around. Punish him, bury him, pancake, lay on top. Great wrap. Love this from the center. All right, for the wide copy, watch Kaltenberger right here. Again, he's going to sail pass, get into this defensive tackle, sees the linebacker come around, linebacker's kind of flailing, and he just buries and pancakes him. Great stuff. This is what you need up front in terms of offensive line. When the defender gives you an opportunity to punish him, bury him, and lay on top of him. Assert your dominance, right? You don't get a lot of shots like this in an NFL game. You don't get a lot of shots like this in any game. College, NFL, doesn't matter, preseason. But when you get an opportunity, right, don't let him off the hook. Punish, bury, impose your will. That's what you love up front right here. It's a draw play. It's a little passive compared to other running plays, but Kaltenberger still does a great job start to finish here, especially the finish, delivering a punishment to the defense. All right, how about a little pass protection? There's Kaltenberger right there at the center position, of course. So we're going to get a little bit of a stunt here. We're going to get this defensive lineman, number 64. He's lined up in a 3 technique on the outside shoulder of the left guard for the Chargers. He's going to work this way. You see number 90 right here. He's lined up in a 1 technique on the outside shoulder of Kaltenberger right there. He's going to work behind 64 going this direction. So how it's going to work out normally in a perfect situation is when 90 loops around, this left guard right here will pick him up after passing off 64 to the center and guard combination. Now, I will say this. It's the preseason. These guys right here, these 3 guys, they haven't worked together very much. It's a little shaky as you would expect. It's preseason, a lot of young guys, a lot of rookies. But Kaltenberger here does a great job recognizing, reacting, giving his quarterback a chance. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see 64 is firing inside. You can see 90 taking 1 step to his left. Kaltenberger goes with him, but there goes 64 for Detroit. Picks him off inside. 90 thinks he's got a clear shot at the quarterback. Let's look at the left guard here. He gets a little too far inside. Right there, he's overcommitted. He should have passed him off earlier. He should be prepared. But Kaltenberger right there recognizes and reacts. He knows it needs to get done and executes and picks up the pass rusher. Quarterback steps up and turns it into a positive play. This is what you need from offensive linemen, especially centers. Smart, recognize, react what's in front of you. It's not always going to be pretty. It's not always going to be perfect, especially in the preseason. But here's a situation where he could have let 90 go. He could have said, listen, my guy's 64. He's right there. I'm going to stay on him. But he recognizes there's an unblocked defender. He picks him up, gives his quarterback a chance. Nice rep from the rookie. All right, from the wide copy, you can see the defensive lineman 90 come around. Kaltenberger picking him up right there. Trey Lance escapes, turns it into a positive play. I think at the very beginning of this right here, Trey Lance saw number 90 coming. He's like, oh my goodness, I'm about to get killed. But Kaltenberger does a good job. 63 picks up 90. He actually had a chance to hang in the pocket here a little bit more. If he just sits here and just reacts. Now, I don't know if anyone's open. I guess maybe one of these guys in the flat or something, or maybe something if he wants to throw a really tough cover 2 shot. That's not really open, but maybe you can try it. But again, right here, The opportunity's there because Kaltenberger picks him up. He does his job, goes beyond his job, actually, stepping outside his responsibility like this from a center. You need to do extra work sometimes up front at the center position, even when it's not your assignment, so to speak. Kaltenberger steps up in a big way here. All right, on the previous play, we showed Kaltenberger going outside of his assignment to do a good job. Here's an example of him executing his job, but at a very high level. So right there is Kaltenberger in the middle of the screen at the center position coming right at you. Here, the Chargers are going to run inside zone concept. We're going to get zone direction this way, zone direction this way, zone direction this way, giving a little help on this defensive lineman. Guard taking over, cut off there, secure the backside. Fullback leading the way, running back going this direction, but looking for a cutback, right? This is just an inside zone concept up front. So basically, every player up front has the gap to their left. So this tackle has this gap, this guard has this gap, Kaltenberger, the center, has this gap, this right guard has this gap, this right tackle has this gap, and so on, right? That's basically the concept, inside zone, simple stuff. Well, what happens here, Kaltenberger is supposed to give a little help on this defensive tackle, then work up to that gap defender, which you would think it would be that linebacker, right? What happens is this defensive tackle actually beats this guard and ends up in this gap about a beat after the snap. And Kaltenberger does a great job recognizing, reacting, picking it up, allows the running back to cut behind it for a nice play. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see everyone taking their zone steps. Watch what happens with this left guard right here. See how he gets beat inside? Right there, this defensive tackle, he's going to blow this play up. But Kaltenberger right there, he's looking for anyone to show in this gap, and he sees this defensive tackle first, and he gets on him and picks him up right here. And actually, the way it works is when it's all said and done, this isn't by design, but you can see this tackle, he gets beat inside. So he kind of stumbles up, and he kind of gets in the way of number 41 right there. So he, in a way, kind of blocks 41 for Detroit. Kaltenberger picks up this defensive tackle. I believe that's 66 for the Lions. He's the A-gap defender. The backside guard picks up 76 for the Lions, and here comes the cutback opportunity. Nice 7-8 yard run. Again, is this exactly how you draw it up? No, but in terms of executing, love this from Kaltenberger, right? You see color, you see someone in your gap, pick him up. That's exactly what he does. That's exactly what you're taught. Now, most of the time, that's going to be a linebacker firing or filling in this situation, but it doesn't matter. Sometimes it's a defensive tackle, and when it does, you have to execute. Nice work from the rookie right here. Smart play. All right, from the wide copy, you get a good look at Kaltenberger right there as he's working through his own steps, giving a little help. He's looking for this linebacker to fire and appear right in his face, but then this defensive lineman does. So what does he do? He picks him up, runs him this direction, opens up that cutback opportunity. Nice work from the rookie right here. All right, going back to some pass protection, there's Kaltenberger right there in the middle of your screen, of course, at the center position. So what the Chargers are going to do, they're going to slide the protection to the offensive right, the left side of your screen. So Kaltenberger is going to take this gap. The right guard's going to take this gap. The right tackle is going to take this gap. And we're going to get one-on-one right here on the backside. Very simple, day one kind of stuff. So what the Lions try to do here is they try to run a stunt. They take this very wide 3 technique, have him work this way, and have this defensive end come around just like this. Now, one thing you'll notice based on the alignment is that the linebacker is lined up right here, head up on the running back. So this is a situation where a smart center, Kaltenberger, very smart center, can look at this and say, okay, that linebacker's offset like that. He's got him man on man. So if he blitzes, and this running back is either assigned to pick him up or he's going to be a hot readout for a big play. So he doesn't have to worry necessarily about number 41 unless he comes literally firing in this gap. So what does that mean? It means he is looking the entire time this direction. He's looking, okay, is 64 coming? Is somebody else coming? Is a defensive end looping around? And when that happens, when this defensive end over here loops around on his stunt right in his face, he's 100% prepared and does a great job. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see right there, 41's dropping into coverage. 64 goes away. Kaltenberger is looking to his right. Once 64 goes away, he's looking for the defensive end or someone else to come. Right there, he sees him. Perfect position to pick him up. Wins the rep. This is what it's about, folks. It's about putting yourself in good positions. It's not always about being physically dominant, although that's nice to have, of course. But sometimes, and I would argue most of the time, it's about being smart. It's about being savvy. It's about understanding what's coming your way and preparing for it. 64 disappears. Defensive end's coming. Let me square him up, pick him up. Nice work right here from the rookie center. All right, from the wide copy, get a good look at it right here. So he's looking at 64. 64 goes away. His eyes turn to the defensive end, and he's perfectly situated to pick him up. Stonewalls him. Perfect pocket for the quarterback right there. Now, there's nowhere to really go down the field, hit the running back. Obviously, that's a good play to make. Don't force it. No turnovers. But again, you look at Kaltenberger. This is textbook. This is smart. This is savvy. This is what you need from a center. Understand what's coming, understand what's happening in front of you, and then execute at a high level and do it with intensity and aggression like what we're seeing from Kaltenberger so far. All right, let's go back to the running game. There's Kaltenberger at the center position, going away from you guys this time on the screen. This is a weird play. I don't know exactly what's happening here, but we're going to get what ends up being a double team between the right guard and the right tackle, working up to the backside linebacker, tight end working out this way, and fullback inserting for the play side linebacker, and the running back taking this kind of path. It's kind of a weird situation because the right tackle actually checks this way first before going into the double team, working up to the backside, and the fullback kind of sticks his head in there right away. On the backside, we get left tackle working out, left guard working out, center working out right there on this one technique, blocking back on him. It's a very weird concept. I think someone on the play side probably made a mistake, but regardless, let's focus on Kaltenberger right here. He's going to base this one technique, this tight one technique on his shoulder. Three things have to be done when you got a base block in this situation, blocking back on him. Number one is you can't allow him to backdoor it just like that. Number two, you can't give up any penetration and let him blow you back into the play. And number three, he can't immediately loop across just like this. Otherwise, he'll get in the play. So you have to stonewall him at the line of scrimmage, prevent him from looping across immediately, and also not let him backdoor it. It's a lot harder than it looks. Kaltenberger does a great job. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see left tackle, left guard, and center working back. You can see the right tackle take a weird step and then work into a double team and get on the linebacker. I mean, it's kind of a weird play. I don't know exactly what's going on. Fullback inserts for that linebacker. It's sort of a weird concept. I don't know exactly what's supposed to happen here. I think someone screwed up. But let's look at Kaltenberger right here. So he bases him up right there. See how he kind of squares him up to make sure no penetration and no backdoor. And then he works up, getting some movement. I love that movement. Seeing he's resetting the line of scrimmage, he's blowing him back, right? You see he's basically at the same depth as a double team. That's what I like to see. Get some movement. Now right there, this defensive lineman works across his face a little bit, but he keeps working, stays on him. Running back's able to cut back around it for a little bit of a gain. Again, is this perfect? Like, technically, could you find flaws? Yeah, he's a little high, feet are a little off. That makes sense, right? There's always going to be things to correct. But in terms of execution, physicality, winning the line of scrimmage, I like what Kaltenberger brings, right? Because these are things you can't teach. We talked about his intelligence earlier, and we got some more plays coming up about that as well. But his physicality, his toughness, and his effort, that's all really good as well. And those are things that you can carry with you as you refine your technique. All right, for the wide copy, watch Kaltenberger get into this nose, right? Watch where this nose's feet are, right there. The 40-yard line, right? The line's 40. He gets walked back about a yard or so. Kaltenberger stays on him, pushes him around. Again, about a yard worth of movement in base block. Not terrible, because if you look at the rest of the line of scrimmage, left guard, how much movement there? Left tackle, how much movement there? Not much, not barely any, right? And again, you get Kaltenberger resetting the line of scrimmage on a nose guard whose entire livelihood, he's going to make this team or not, number 76 for Detroit, by not getting moved. Kaltenberger gets a little bit of movement and stays on him, makes sure the running back can turn it into something. Nice work from the rookie center. All right, some quick pass pro here. There's Kaltenberger at the center position. One thing I love about the Chargers is they run a lot of old school concepts. So this is just a quick game under center, quick drop, quick throw. Really old school football. I say old school. It used to be commonplace about 20 years ago. Don't see it nearly as much anymore. Everyone wants to live in the shotgun. But here's an example. Kaltenberger, one-on-one pass pro on a defensive lineman, executing at a high level. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap, quick drop, throw, easy completion, move the chains. Days gone by football stuff. But let's look at Kaltenberger right here. One-on-one pass protection. Steps over, squares him up. One thing I like is how he uses his non-snapping hand for a quick little punch. Bang, right there. Now, a little high. Don't want to hit the helmet. That could be a penalty. Could have been called in this situation. But a quick punch right there to slow the momentum, stagger him a little bit, and then get into him, square him up, move your feet. Look at this process right here. Let's go back to the very beginning. So it's punch right there, and now watch how he pitter-patters his feet real quick to base him up. Pop, pop, pop. And now he's square on him, just like that. And now he's got hands inside, good base across the board. Really nice work here from the young center. All right, from the wide copy, watch his non-snapping hand right there at the snap when he delivers a punch right to this guy's face. Should be in the breastplate. You can see right there, you'd like it a little bit lower. But again, pop right there, slow the momentum. That's a penalty. Want it more in his chest. But again, I like where his head's at. Then squares, gets his feet over, squares him up, good base, negates the rush. Ball's gone, first down. Nice play. All right, let's go back to the running game, and there's Kaltenberger right there at the center position. We're going to talk about a wide zone concept with a designed cutback on the backside. So what's going to happen is this wide receiver is going to go in motion pre-snap to basically get some flow this direction from the Lions defense. 44, let me clean up the screen. 44 is going to come across at the snap and kick out the in-man line of scrimmage. And everyone up front from the Chargers offensive line on the play side is going to sprint and block this direction to try and dislocate the defense to get movement that direction. We're going to try and get either cutoff blocks on the backside or to get everyone sprinting that way. The whole goal is basically to get a seal here from this guy and to get all these other guys going that direction to get everyone else dislocated. So you get a seal here plus a motion movement and then a seal here, and the running back cuts behind, right? That's the ideal. I know a lot of lines and arrows on the screen. It's pretty simple. It's just a basic concept. Everyone runs it. In order to execute, you need to have a center in this situation that has the athleticism and the physicality to get movement, to bear down this three technique a couple gaps away, dislocate him while always looking to work up. Kaltenberger does a great job. Let's check it out. All right, here comes the motion. There's a snap. You can see 44 come, kick out the line of scrimmage. Look at that backside, folks. That's what you're looking for. Running back a little late to it, but he gets there. Nice productive run. What do you need to dislocate on the defense on the play side? You need centers, guards, tackles to get movement. Dislocate these guys. Look at them sprinting. Look at them running. Let's look at this right tackle here, folks. Get on your horse. What are you doing? That's a mental mistake. Now, he makes up for it, right? Driving his feet and stuff and doing a halfway decent job there. So it ends up being okay, but I guarantee you got chewed out unless that was somehow a game plan thing, which I kind of doubt. But let's look at Kaltenberger right here. He sprints, delivers a shock. Look how much he shoves 66 down. Look at that. He ends up all the way where the linebackers and defensive ends are. That's what you're talking about, dislocations. Look at where the contact is right here. So you can see 41, 28, this corner on the outside, number 50. They're all kind of huddled mess, but watch where they end up shoving them, right? It's a huddled mess now 10 yards more to the left. The entire Lions defense is dislocated. That's what happens when you get horizontal movement in the zone blocking game. Dislocate these guys. And number 41 kind of runs himself out of the play there for Detroit. Not great for him. But this is what happens when you get running. When you actually run and move your feet, these linebackers have to chase you. They have to follow you just in case it's an outside run. You dislocate the defensive lineman. They get in the way. It turns into a nice run for the Chargers offense. Nice tackle at the end of it, though. All right, from the wide copy, watch Kaltenberger right here. He runs away right there and boom, delivers a good shock. Keeps running his feet, He's trying to work up to the next level, but the guy never flashes. You can see 41. He's looking at him the entire way. You can see his eyes are right at 41. But this defensive lineman gets in his way, and 41 so far runs out of the play that it doesn't even matter. By the time he has to come off, the running back's well past him, already cut back. Again, really nice rep from Kaltenberger. Good job across the board from this Chargers offensive line. All right, let's end on some power goal line kind of football. There is Kaltenberger at the center position right there. There is the goal line right here. So we're talking 5 yards away from pay dirt. Here, the Chargers are going to run a power concept. We're going to get double team right here between the play side tackle and guard working up to the linebacker. We're going to get an anchor down on the backside tackle. We're going to get the guard pulling. We're going to get the tight end working up. We're going to get the fullback kicking out. And we're going to get the running back running through just like this with a lot of authority. The goal is to hit basically here. You want movement here, dislocation, get up to the next level. You want this fullback to kick out the defensive end, and you want the guard pulling around to lead, running back to follow the guard, right? Again, a lot of lines and arrows, but old school power football. That's all you really need to know. Let's look at Kaltenberger right here. Again, we showed this kind of play earlier. 3 things can't happen. You can't let this guy backdoor it. You can't let him work over the cross and over a cross, and you can't let him get penetration right through you. Ideally, in a perfect world, you base and square him up and get movement. And guess what? Must be a perfect world because that's what Kaltenberger does. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap, guard pulling, tight end trying to kick out. You can see this defensive end inserting tight right there. You want this fullback to be a little bit more inside out. Same how he goes a little more wide. You want to start really narrow and then work to kick out. He gets a little too much width there for my book. Causes defensive end to kind of blow the play up a little bit. Becomes kind of a massy humanity. You see the running back just has to go like, oh my gosh, there's all these bodies here. Where do I go? But let's look at Kaltenberger right here. Point of attack. Base in the nose guard. Firing, moving his feet. Look at this movement, guys. Remember, ball was snapped where? At the 5-yard line. Keeps driving his feet, keeps walking guy back, another yard and a half? That's a lot of movement for a nose tackle, basing one-on-one with no help. Look at this. Look at him. He's got more movement than anybody. Look at this double team inside. How much movement do they get on number 90? Like none, right? That's a bad double team. And that's 2 guys. How much movement is Kaltenberger getting on this defensive lineman by himself? About a yard and a half. That's good work, especially on a base block. Doesn't let him work over the top, doesn't backdoor it, no penetration, movement. Nice work from Kaltenberger as a rookie center. Again, is this pretty? Will this make the highlight reels or anything like this? Will PFF grade this nicely? Probably not. But in terms of nasty physical football, the way Harbaugh and the Chargers like to play, this is exactly what you're looking for. I love what Kaltenberger's put on tape. I think his future is very bright with the Chargers. Still a long way to go to make this team, but I think if he continues on this track, he will be a very nice player for Los Angeles, not just this season, but I think for years to come as well.